Arsenal let a 2-goal lead at home slip away against Aston Villa, and it finishes 2-2. Jules, to me, there's a big Saliba-shaped hole in that defense. And by the way, Mikel Arteta afterwards saying, "Ooh, we're very, very concerned." Do you need to say that?
Like to say that about Saliba, you mean?
Yeah, like find a different way. You never talk about injuries. You didn't even tell us he was injured last time, right?
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
It seems like because everybody now is going to remember what happened when they had the was it a 6-point lead or whatever 2 years ago, and then it was like an 11-point tournament.
Yeah, although it's not that serious for Saliba, it's just a little.
That's according to L'Equipe, because of course Arteta doesn't say. He just says we're very concerned.
Yeah, no. But he will miss the Champions League game, the next two, the last two, and the Wolves game at the weekend. But after that, he should be fine, I think. Sonny should be back for the City game. I think they just switched off for 8 minutes. They conceded 2 goals in 8 minutes, plus the post that Tielemans hit. I don't know what happened. I don't know how.
I know what happened. Let me help you. There's no Saliba there. Because there's no Partey is not a good defender, right? And he gives Dean way too much time. The other guy, Marino, or whatever, is not in the right. You need to have somebody who can talk and organize. And I think Saliba would have done that in that situation. And also, I felt at 2-0, he started inviting the pressure too much. You know Villa are going to come forward, but you're not set up to defend that way when Saliba's not there.
Yeah, no, maybe I still think the goals that could have been avoided even without Saliba. The poor goal to concede, especially the second one. And then after that, they were better again, much better at 2-2, and just, again, not clinical enough to score a third one and get that win. They were not far, but you just can't switch off like this. Like this season, they don't have enough certainties. Liverpool are too good to let those kind of opportunities go. When you're 2-0 up at home, whoever you're facing, you should see the game up. So
Kai Havertz scored. Want to make a bet? He ends up with 20 to shush up the haters.
Yeah, let's hope so.
After being called an off-brand Andy Carroll, he was called something else. I'm just being polite. Darwin Núñez bags 2 injury time goals to help Liverpool win at Brentford 2-0. Jules, I don't know about you. I am happy for the guy.
Yeah, I'm happy as well. And to be fair, it looks like he bails out Liverpool in this game because he scored in 91st and 93rd minute.
And he nearly gets himself sent off too.
But they were very good before that. They had 37 shots in this game, away from home at Brentford. 37, 28 of them in the box. The XG is almost 3.5. I thought they were outstanding, just not clinical, obviously, until the 2 Darwin goals. But still very good, deservedly winners of this game. And Thomas Frank was so praising them after the game, and rightly so. But yeah, you're right. I'm glad that Darwin. But they all had their share, didn't they? Luis Diaz started really well. Jota had that very important goal at
Those
Forest.
guys are good. This guy is not.
He's good.
He's not. He is not. I'll say this about it. He has not lived up to his contract, obviously.
No,
right? It was an enormous
he's still
deal.
a good player.
Well, what I would say is he's a guy who, even when he has finishing issues, which has been the case for most of his career since moving to Liverpool, he still gives you environment. He still gives you a lot of engagement.
Yeah.
He gives you physicality. He gives you energy. He's an agent of chaos up front. And I think there's a value in that for Liverpool.
Yeah, and you know what? I think he should have started this game against Brentford. He should have started at Forest. And I think Slot made a big mistake not to start him in both games and going for Luis Diaz, Luis Diaz, one, is not a 9, and 2, would always struggle, I think, against those very strong back 4x5, but really low blocks, like he did. And it's not me criticizing Luis Diaz to play in that. He played where he's asked to play and does what he can. But I just think it was a mistake for Slotner to have started Darwin in those 2 games.
And Postecoglou switches to a back 3, and it blows up in his face badly as Spurs are 3-0 down at halftime, en route to a 3-2 defeat. Jules, they're 15th. I know we're going to criticize Spurs. Can you also show some love for Davy Moyes, and especially Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who has scored his first goal since, I believe, the Cameron administration?
Yeah. We come to David Moyes and Calvert-Lewin. Let us destroy Spurs first, and then Postecoglou. What was that about? I know there's injuries. I know not everybody is fit. He said he had 12 fit players, or kind of fit players, 11 plus Richarlison on the bench. That back 3 made no sense whatsoever. They were embarrassing, to say the least. The first half, they should have been 5-0 down against an Everton team that had scored 1 in 5 games or something like that. I'd never scored 3 in the first half of a game since literally the dinosaurs. It was just that bad from Spurs. And yeah, in the end, they have 1 goal in garbage time, as you always say, with Richarlison. Before that, Kulusevski with a lovely finish. But this was pathetic, really pathetic. And I'm sorry, Ange, this is on you too. It's on you. You're 15th in the table. The form since March has been dreadful. I think only Wolves has more defeat than them in the last 38 games.
He's had a ton of injuries.
But even at the end of last season, Gabi, he didn't have any injuries, and they were still bad between March and May. Yeah. This is not just now. I don't know. He's going to keep his job because they're still in the League Cup semi-final and in the Europa League. But this was horrible.
Wait, winning the League Cup keeps you in a job at Spurs? Go tell Jose Mourinho that.
Well, at least reach the final first, and then you get sacked before the final. Bayern, and a bit of love for David Moyes. I know you want to. Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I mean, to be fair, Spurs made this Everton team look like Barca 2011.
I'm sorry. Archie Gray is 18, so we're supportive, and you're young and developing, not a center back. Although I don't watch the championship. I'm told he played some right back last year.
A lot of right back last year.
He had a terrible game. Learn from it, move on, right?
Yeah.
But let's at least acknowledge this, because it seems like when things go bad, oh look, Dragusin's rubbish, Ange is rubbish, Poro's rubbish, Emerson Royale cost them the game, even though he doesn't play for them anymore. No, I often see a pattern here in the criticism that Spurs receive.
Or just foreign players, you mean?
A certain type.
But yeah, for Moyes, that energy that they showed in that game, we'd never seen before in this season. And for Calvert-Lewin, no games in 17. Then you play Spurs and you look like Ronaldo, the Brazilian. So, hey, they probably wish they play Spurs every
Dominic
week.
Calvert-Lewandowski to
Exactly,
you.
Yeah.
Manchester City unleash a can of whoop-ass on Ipswich, winning 6-0 on the road. Jules, did you learn anything other than Phil Foden, 5 goals and 3?
Yeah, again, I learned that probably this was KDB's best game for the last 18 months or so. He looked really good for the hour that he played. He didn't need to play more because the match was won already. And Doku and KDB combined really, really well. So it's better with the ball for sure than what they were a month ago. And Ipswich were so bad.
Yeah, not good.
And sticking with City, Gab, Erling Haaland signed this monster contract through 20, 30, 10 years. What does that tell you?
We had a lot of debates about this. What does it tell you? So first of all, I believe there are still clauses in the contract, even though City briefed everybody. No, there aren't any, just like there supposedly weren't any before. He's not getting a big bump. I think, again, that shows in wages. I think that also shows that the current climate that they're in, there is a little bit of deflation. It's a big piece in there, and it shows that they're confident going into the 130 charges. So much for that Newcastle United winning streak, Jules. Bournemouth win 4-1 at St. James Park. They're now 1 point out of 4th place. They've had an incredible run of injuries, and still they rise like dust.
Yeah.
Andoni Iraola, he's a genius, yeah?
Yeah, he's the manager of the season for me.
Arne Slot, thank you.
I mean, Slot has the best squad. But Nuno's style of football is not for me. Whereas Iraola's style of football is for me. That's what I love. I'm not too keen on Nuno's style, although he's very effective, and we give him credit for that all the time. But this is not my cup of tea. Whereas what Bournemouth are doing is wonderful, I think. The intensity, the way they play with the ball, even without a proper number 9 like Evan Nilsson, because he's one of the 9 players that are injured currently for them. They still go out to Newcastle and literally play that off the park. They dominated in every single department. And I think United were even lucky to score 1, to be fair. The way they kept Isak quiet and Gordon quiet, the way they dominate the midfield. And maybe I think the mistake that Eddie Howe made in this game is that he kept the same starting 11 again. And I think all of them have played so much lately, but which is normal because they won 9 in a row. So there was not much rotation being made there. And that I think they paid for that, because against this Bournemouth side, that press is so they are the most intense team in the league. Right. You have to be at your best physically, otherwise you're not going to make it.
You know what? I think until you see Bournemouth play in the flesh, which is hard to do in Bournemouth because their stadium is teeny tiny. I had the privilege of seeing them against Chelsea last week. You don't appreciate how coordinated everything is. They were poor in the first half against Chelsea. It bravely makes a change, moves, puts in a striker for a midfielder. For his right back, moves Lewis Cook to right back, and they go again. And then It's honestly, it's really special.
Yeah.
You wonder what he could do with better players.
Yeah,
No
that's
disrespect, Justin.
Yeah, no,
Kluivert.
but that's why for me he's the manager of the season.
Nottingham Forest stay level on points with Arsenal behind Liverpool as they beat Southampton 3-2. Jules, when will they start dropping points?
It's a good question, Gab.
If they played for another 10 minutes, they might have dropped points in this game.
I don't think so. But they play the next 6 Premier League games are against teams of the top 10. So they play Bournemouth, they play Fulham, they play Newcastle, they play Arsenal, they play City, and there's a 6th one, I can't remember who, Brighton. That's it. So this is a proper test, home and away, some of those fixtures. We will see. I think they are better when they can play with a low block and counter-attack. That's where they are their best. This is their identity. Although against Southampton, they were 3-0 up and cruising before conceding 2 on set pieces and being a little bit under pressure. But those 6 games to come are massive, massive tests to see their resilience and how far they can go really this season.